What's poppin'? It's your girl Jazzy J. How y'all doing today? Welcome to my channel. If you're new around here, welcome. If not, what is up, buttercup? How y'all doing today? Currently, I have blood freely coming out of me, like the Red Sea, and I'm not doing fantastic. So normally I would be eating food, but today I had decided to go ahead and starve. Why? Because I don't want to eat food. That is why. If you're newer to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. What you waiting for? I'm sure you came to this channel for a reason. You clearly like webcomics. You clearly like talking about webcomics. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, turn on that bell notification so that you know when I post another video. And also, follow me on my social media, which is __ Jazzy J on, well, pretty much everything. I got a TikTok, I got a Twitter, I got a Twitch, I got an Instagram, I even got a Facebook. Although I'm not really on my Facebook all too much. But I digress. Go ahead and follow everything. You know, if y'all have not seen, last Sunday we talked. Hold on a second. We're running back. Today is Sunday, which means it's my favorite little segment, Manga and a Mukbang, where I talk about webcomics while eating food. And like I said earlier, I'm not eating food today because I don't feel like eating food, so I'm just not gonna eat food. Okay? That's it. But last Sunday we talked about Solitary Lady. If you have read that webcomic, go ahead and check out my video and give me your honest thoughts and opinions about the webcomic and how I talked about the webcomic. If you haven't read the webcomic, go ahead and check out my video anyway, and then go read the webcomic, and then go ahead and leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. It's not that hard. Come on now. Come on, get with the program. We can do this. Right, anyway. This Sunday, we're going to be talking about a webcomic of mine that I have recently been rereading because I wanted to. I like it. There's always more chapters that are coming into existence. Called The Monstrous Duke's Adopted Daughter. I happen to very much love this webcomic. I love a lot of webcomics. I'm gonna be honest with you. I love a lot of webcomics, but I really love this webcomic. It is very much in detail. It is very much in depth. Oh God. It is too early for this. It is too early. I am so used to filming later on in the night, and I'm currently filming on like Friday morning, knowing full well that I'm gonna have to go to work after this, and I'm just like, I guess. But anyway, if you guys have not checked out the Monstrous Duke's Adopted Daughter, go ahead and find it somewhere out on the web. You can also read it on Tapas, and I think they might have it on Billy Comics. Don't quote me on that one, but I know for a fact that it is on Tapas. So go ahead and read it there if you feel like paying for it, and if not, find it free on the web. That's kind of it. Trigger warnings. When you are reading this webcomic, and I'm going to talk about a little words. I can do this. Words. I'm going to talk about it a little bit, and when you're going in to read the webcomic, you should understand that there are themes of sacrifice, child abuse, manipulation, regular abuse, starvation, violence, blood. Yeah, I think there's blood, imprisonment, kidnapping, a lot. There's a lot going on in this webcomic, especially like the first few chapters, like chapter 1 through chapter 30 is rough. It's rough. So I just want to give a preface that if you have had a very rough rough childhood, or you know somebody that had a rough childhood, and this is going to bring up some painful past memories, just be mindful going into this webcomic. I don't want anybody going down the wrong path because of something they read because I recommended it. Just keep that in mind. All right. The original language for this one is Korean. Again, most things that are on tapas, the original language is typically Korean. But again, you can find it translation anywhere in English, okay? Genre falls into the fantasy, romance, drama. Definitely a lot of drama. Yeah, fantasy, romance, drama. That's pretty much it, to be honest with you. It is an ongoing series. Currently, it's up to chapter 150. At least that's what it is on the free websites. I'm not sure what it is on more legitimate websites, you know. But right now, I know that it's up to chapter 150, and I'm somewhere again in the 30s. And I started yesterday. These aren't long chapters. Like, you can, if you really sat down and you really wanted to, you could read all 150 chapters in less than half a day. They're not long chapters. They're fantastic, but they're not long chapters, you know? Before we do a summary, the emotions that I felt during this, rage, absolutely. Like, I was legitimately getting enraged for the main character, whose name is Leslie. Sadness. Like, the amount of times that I almost started crying. It's hard to get somebody like me to cry. Like, you can come to me with your whole life story about how everything was terrible and how everything was this and how everything was that, and literally, oh my god, I can't talk today. And literally get like whole waterworks from everybody else. They'd be crying, they'd be boo-hooing, they'd be, oh my god, that really happened to you. And I'd just be cool and like, oh damn, that sucks. And I promise you, I'm not trying to be mean. I promise you, I'm not trying to be cruel. That's just my disposition. Like, I don't know. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not an empath. Okay? Like, I can sympathize with how you were feeling. I could be like, yeah, that sucks. You went through a lot. Like, I'm so sorry. But, like, I don't understand. If I don't know you, I might not care. Oh God, that sounds horrible. That sounds so bad. But honestly, that's how I am. If you come to me with your worst life story, and I really genuinely don't know you, don't be surprised if I don't cry or don't show emotion. That's just... Let me stop before I dig myself in a deeper hole. Let me just... Okay. I felt vengeance. Lot of Leslie's family really needed to be served their due justice. And they get served their due justice. So there's a lot of satisfaction, gratification going on there and whatnot. But it took a while. It definitely took a while. And I'm proud. I'm proud of Leslie. First of all, it takes a lot to recognize the type of situation that Leslie is in. Like, for her to recognize the situation that she is in, and then to recognize that she needs to get out of it and she needs to find help. And it takes an even more special, I guess is the word I want to use, a special person to stand up to her past, to stand up to the people who physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually harmed her, abused her, manipulated her. Like, it takes a certain type of person and a certain type of disposition to be able to do that. Plus, it also helps that she has, like, tremendous backing so that she can stand up to her past and to the people who hurt her. Not only stand up to them, but ultimately destroy them, you know? Which I love that for her. I love that for her. And I wish that for everybody who was going through something like what Leslie's going through. I wish you find the backing that you need to stand up to your past. as a child. I wish that for you. I do. Now, before we get into the story, I'm going to go ahead and read off the summary, the little synopsis thing that you get so you can kind of get a background story of it. The Sparado family line possesses a secret shadow magic, wow. But it's been 100 years since someone last wielded it. When Marquis Sparado tries to sacrifice Leslie for her favored sister, Ellie, little does he know that this awakens the power of darkness in her instead. To escape her family's greed and abuse, Leslie's out to make a deal with the monstrous Duke. Adopt her, and her powers will be at the Duke's disposal. Will Leslie escape her parents' cruel grip, or succumb to their evil exploits? I mean, I guess it's not the most entrancing synopsis. I don't really read the synopsis all terribly much. I normally just look at the pictures and be like, ooh, pretty! and start reading. And then from there, like, if I really like chapter 1, I go to chapter 2. If I really like chapter 2, I'm typically gonna read the entire story. But yeah, I don't really read the summary like that. I just look at it like, I like that character. I'm gonna read this. From here on, if you want to go ahead and read the story and then come on back, you are more than welcome to do that. Do that. This is going to be pretty much a bunch of spoilers because I'm going to talk about the webcomic from here on out, especially considering I'm rereading it. I'm going to talk up to a certain point because I ain't got all the time of the day to be talking about every single thing, every single aspect of the webcomic. I just don't have the time. If you don't really care, stick around. If you already read it, go ahead and stick around. If you just like hearing me talk and you want to put me on in the background somewhere, go ahead and stick around. Whatever suits your fancy, I don't really care. But we're gonna go ahead and jump into it now. So the webcomic starts out essentially with, of course, who you see, Leslie, with her family. She has an older sister, Ellie. Her mom is the Marquess, I think that's how it's pronounced. The Marquis Sparado. And then it has like a whole bunch of servants and whatnot. They are a family of nobility, but Leslie has been locked up her entire life, literally her entire life. Her sole purpose of being born, and you find that out relatively quickly, is to be a sacrifice for her older sister, Ellie. I don't know what it is with the tradition, and I think they might go into this a little bit more when they find out more of the history in the background, but essentially, the people of the Sparado family believe that the only true lineage of the Sparado family are children that have blonde hair and green eyes. Everyone else is just considered mincemeat, sacrificial material type of thing. And Ellie, who was born with silver hair, is considered the highest of quality for sacrificial ingredients, I guess, if that makes sense. So they literally the mom gave birth to Leslie in order to sacrifice her later on when Ellie developed her powers, which are significantly weaker than Leslie's, and then have Leslie's powers transfer over to Ellie so that the family lineage can go on. And this has been a tradition that has been going on for like 1,000 years or something like that, but apparently nobody has really thought anything of it. The fact that the second and third borns of the Sparado household would just up and die and nobody would ever make it to adulthood. Nobody thought that was strange and nobody wanted to look into it. Like outside people, different families. Nobody wanted to look into the fact that other than the firstborn, nobody made it to adulthood. Everyone always passed away because of something. No one thought that was strange at all. Yeah, anyway. Anyways, going back into the story. So you see Leslie, she is finally, first of all, she's treated worse than the servants are being treated. Like, she's actually being treated worse than a slave would have been. No, she's being treated like how a slave would have been treated. She is locked up in the attic. She is not allowed to go out. She is fed a bowl of like clear soup, as in like watery soup with maybe some table scraps or something like that. She has clothes that are worse than the servants' clothes. They are tattered, they are torn, they are old, she is malnourished, she is small for her age, like she's 12, but a lot of people think that she's like 7 because that's just how small she is and how much neglect she has been put through. Now, as I think within like the first or the second chapter, we see we see Leslie get like dressed up. She's becoming beautiful, or the maids are putting her in this beautiful dress. They're getting her hair done. She's like, oh my gosh, am I finally going to receive love? The reason why she's been sticking around for so long is because she's like, if I do this, then they'll love me. If I do that, then they'll love me. And the whole 9 yards, because she has been excluded from literally everything. And now this is her chance, at least in her mind, this is her chance to show that she can do this for her family, and they're going to love her in the end, and they're going to become a family in the end. And her father comes to grab her with the rest of her family. They walk down to this very weird gazebo type of thing that they built up. And the gazebo is filled with mystical black fire, and that fire is meant to be sacrificial fire. So they say to Leslie, like, Leslie, you can do this. You need to do this for your sister. You were here. This is what you need to do. This is your obligation to your sister. This is your obligation to your family. You need to sacrifice yourself for your sister. And she's like, what? Wait a minute. Wait, what do you mean I need to sacrifice myself? I don't want to do this. I don't want to die. Why would I want to die? Her father's like, this is something that you need to do. Stop being dramatic. Stop being this. Stop being that. And they literally, like, do they use a rope? I think they tie a rope around her neck, like a noose around her neck. And then her father is like, throw her into the fire. So one of the servants, I guess the gardener, I don't really know who it is in particular, like grabs the rope and is like pulling her, and you can literally see her clawing at the ground, trying to prevent herself from going into the fire. There's blood coming out of her fingers. There's blood coming out of her fingers. She's crying. She's like, I don't want to die. Why are you doing this to me? She gets thrown into the fire. And of course, it hurts. That's what happens. But something strange happens. There are a whole bunch of hands popping out of the fire. Spiritual hands, not actual hands. That say, you have to get out. You have to survive. You can't be like us. Come to find out later on that all of those hands are the souls of the children who were sacrificed. And they say, you have to make it. You have to do this. You have to survive for us, for you. You have to make it. And she gets pushed out of the gazebo, which is like a glass gazebo. It's like an enclosed gazebo, I guess, if that makes sense. Like the walls are made of glass, kind of like windows. She gets pushed out of it and she falls off of a cliff. And she's like, I don't want to die. I'm going to die if I fall. Because it's not like, oh, I'm just getting pushed out onto the ground. Like, no, she got pushed off a sheer cliff. It's a long fall. It was like a 40-foot fall. And she's a malnourished 12-year-old. She didn't go survive that fall. And then, because of all of the help that she received from the children who had passed away, she almost immediately develops her powers of darkness, and the powers of darkness encircle her, and she makes it to the ground. I don't say safely, like she does get knocked out, of course. But she's not sacrificed, she's not dead, she is alive. From there, she's brought back to her room, and she finally realizes, they're never gonna love me. It doesn't matter what I do, it doesn't matter what I say, it doesn't matter how I look. She also has to when I tell you this girl has been abused. When her sister, this is a very religious area, mind you. When her sister and her family go to the temple, she is forced to wear rags and act like the maid, actually act worse than the maid, and walk behind her sister while carrying her sister's dress because her sister doesn't want her new dress to get dirty. She is forced to study to make her older sister Ellie seem smart. Like, she's forced to study theology, philosophy, multiple languages, mathematics, history, the whole 9 yards. You name it, she has to study it. She has the same academic level as a senior in grad school, if that makes sense. But because she's treated so poorly, whenever she gets an answer wrong, she gets whipped, she gets beat. If she talks back, like she asks a question, she gets whipped, she gets beat. If she waits too long to answer, she gets whipped, she gets beat. If she does something accidental, she gets whipped, she gets, like, anything and everything possible that she could do other than being a small and timid mouse, she gets beat for it, physically. And it's not just her family that does this. Like, the servants do this, and they find enjoyment out of hurting her, physically hurting her and physically scarring her. But after the fire, she's like, you know what? Y'all don't love me. Y'all don't want me. You never loved me. You never wanted me. I'm done. From here on out, I am protecting me, myself, and I. And I'm going to be moving on. And from there, it's going to be a long video if I talk about the whole thing. She decides that she's going to go off and she's going to find the Duke. But she wants to originally, like, stand up to her family. That wasn't her first goal, to go and find the Duke, like, right away. She wants to go to her family and say, I'm not doing this anymore. You guys they're not going to love me. Like, I don't expect love. I just want to be able to be an adult and then move out on my own and do my own thing. And before she can even talk to her family, she hears them. Like, the door is kind of cracked open, and she sees them talking inside and hears them. And that's when she finds out that her whole life was meant to be a sacrifice. Like, she was born to be a sacrifice. They never wanted her. They never loved her. The whole reason she came about was to be for her older sister. And she's, like, I feel like crushed isn't enough of an adjective of how she's feeling at that time, to realize that your whole reason for being born was to die for somebody else. It's kind of like at 12, like, she finds this out at 12 years old. It's like, what? So my whole reason to be alive was to die. That's why I was born, to die for somebody else. Now, mind you, this is where a lot of people, like, there are, like, two categories from here that I would like to think of. The first category, which I feel a lot of people find themselves in, would just be to completely and utterly give up and then just wait until the next sacrificial day and then be sacrificed and just call it quits, because they're just like, I don't, what's the point of me even trying if nobody wants me here anyway? That's number one. Or they would kill themselves beforehand so that they couldn't be used as a sacrifice, whatever. The second type of person, which Leslie is the one that falls into that, and a lot of people would not find themselves in this category, is the individual who fights back. And the first thing that she does is she goes to make a contract with the most powerful noble family, even more power than the imperial family within the kingdom, and that is the Salvatores. The mother, the Duke Salvatore, she's a woman. Duke Salvatore is known as being a monster. They are considered the Monstrous family, so she is the Monstrous Duke. Leslie goes to the Monstrous Duke, Duke Salvatore, to say, I want to make a contract with you. I want you to adopt me from my family. She doesn't go into detail particularly as to why at the beginning. She does eventually say why, but she says, you can use me however you see fit. Just please protect me. Once I turn 18, I will leave. I will get out of your hair. I will go and start a family. I just want protection right now. Please adopt me as your daughter. Here is another reason as to why you might find me useful. I have this power of darkness, and I can be the Black Saint, which I guess they're going to go into that a little bit later on in the story. They haven't touched too much on it as right now, but I think she has to grow up. Like, she can't control her power at all, so there has to be like a whole training arc type of a thing, you know? And the Duke is like, wow, like she enveloped the entire mansion within darkness, and the Duke was like, now that's an unusual power that I can very much use, thank you, yes. And Leslie's like, not only that, but there is one thing that I want you to very much do. I want you to completely and utterly crush the Sparado family, because they do not deserve to live. Oh, Leslie, I guess at that point, before she went to see the Duke, like, she went to the temple to figure out what exactly was going on with the family and why this was happening and what happened to the other children as well. And that's when she found out, like, through the records, because the historical records of each of the families are kept in the temple. She got access to go into the temple because she stole Ellie's carriage, which has their family seal on the carriage. But she got into the temple, she found the family book, read the book, and she's like, every single child who wasn't a firstborn has died before they made it to adulthood, all being written down as different things. Like, some people die from burning, some people die from starvation, some people die by drowning, some people die because of this, some people die because of that, X, Y, and Z. But people who were the second and third born of the Sparado family all miraculously passed away before they reached adulthood. And she was just like, this isn't just a me thing, this is a Sparado history thing. Like, this is what the Sparados do. So before she made it to the Duke, she was like, yeah, the Sparado families, they need to be taken out, because this, and the fact that nobody decided to say anything about the fact that the Sparados have been doing this for 1,000 years. No. Okay. Time to end them. That's exactly what she did. And so she went to the Duke and she's like, this is what I want. So from there, this video's gonna get long. From there, the Duke was like, okay, I understand, but how in the world, why did you come to me? Of all people, why me? And she said, well, I came to you because I heard that you were looking at adopting a daughter. And that's when Duke Sparado was like, oh, we have a rat in the mansion, so we need to snuff out that rat, clearly, because I haven't told anybody that I have been looking for a daughter to adopt. But now that you're here, it works out, because I can use you to destroy the Sparado family, who's been a pain in my butt for quite some time now. I can use the power of darkness, plus I get an adorable little daughter to live with us. I am perfectly fine with this. However, you are still the legitimate daughter of the noble family Sparado, and there is a law that states all children must be raised by their parents. And that's kind of that. So the problem with that law is, I mean, there's a good thing about the law. Like, if you give birth to a child, you are obligated to raise that child. But the problem is, people can abuse that law, where children will end up in the same situation as how Leslie found out, because her parents don't like her, they don't care for her, but the law states that she has to be raised by her parents. They can do pretty much anything and everything to her to hurt her, harm her, abuse, manipulate X, Y, and Z, and nobody can do anything about it because her parents have sole rights over Leslie, and they're the ones that have to raise Leslie. So they're like, okay, we're gonna have to do some things to make it so that we can raise you and not the Sparado family trying to take you back. Because Leslie is like, if I go back to the Sparado family, to be quite honest with you, they're gonna kill me. That's it. If I go back to the Sparado family, it's game over for me. So please, just keep me here. If I talk anymore, to be quite honest with you, this video is going to get terribly, terribly long, and I don't feel like doing that. So that's pretty much just like the first chunk of the story, okay? If you want to call that season 1, fine, whatever. They don't really have seasons in here, but if that's what you want to call season 1, go crazy. I don't care. It's perfectly fine, okay? But from there, I would highly, highly, highly suggest that you go and read the story. I hope that the way I explained it to you wasn't too confusing. It was very interesting. I wish that I could put like pictures up on the screen here, but I can't due to copyright reasons. If I were to put up a video, oh my goodness. If I were to put up a screenshot of the chapters, I would definitely get copyright stricken, even though I'm not making any money, I'm not monetized at all. They would find some reason to have the video taken down. So we're not gonna do that. That being said, go out, find the video, oh my goodness, find the webcomic, read the webcomic, come back, tell me what you thought about it. Go through a whole 150 chapters or more, depending on when you see this video. Tell me what you thought about it down in the comments. If you like this video, go ahead and leave me a thumbs up. Drop your, again, thoughts, opinions down in the comments below. Do you like this type of video formatting where I kind of give you the brief rundown of the webcomic itself, like the background of the webcomic, and then go into the story itself? Do you like that? Do you not like that? Do you want me to do things a different way? I don't know. I'm just experimenting for now and seeing what sticks and what doesn't stick. So, you know, whatever works. Share this video because I know for a fact that there are a bunch of other nerds out there, and I would very much like to connect to all the nerds out there who like webcomics and grow my platform. Subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and turn on those bell notifications so you know when I post another video. Again, go ahead and follow me on all of my social media. I am _JazzyJ, __Jazzy J on pretty much everything, okay? It's not that, it shouldn't be terribly hard to find me on everything. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and drop a book emoji. Drop a book emoji. I want to see if you made it this far. Alright? And then from there, that's pretty much all that I have. But until next time, see ya.